So we just discussed Trump's announcement that supposedly he's going to do it. He's going to get tough with Putin for real this time. It's happening well in 50 days. And now I want to examine his reasoning. He told a story now a couple times today that indicates the fundamentally and tragically flawed childishness and naivete, I guess, in his approach to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which is laid bare in the story that he tells, walking up to Melania in the Oval Office, in the residence. Supposedly, he sees her in the residence. I doubt it, but okay. Reportedly, she's completely missing from the White House. So he probably made this up. But he's saying that she would have to shut him down and would have to say, oh, you just had a great triumphant phone call with Putin. Well, you actually didn't, because here's what's actually happening in Ukraine. And for him to be so comfortable sharing that this is bringing him to the conclusion that everyone was already holding besides his diehard followers, which is that Putin's the impediment to peace, should be embarrassing, but he clearly likes the story because he keeps telling it.
I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit. So it's like, look.
So it's like, look. I said it's childish. He's talking about it like a child. Pekka Kalionimi? Sorry. Said, damn, Melania roasting Donnie wasn't on my bingo card. Apparently, it was Melania who had to correct the record for Trump and shut down his idea that he had some successful peace talk with Putin when over and over that hasn't happened. Another example of the story today.
But we thought we had a deal numerous times. I'd get home, I'd say, First Lady, I had the most wonderful talk with Vladimir. I think we're finished. And then I'll turn on the television, or she'll say to me one time, wow, that's strange because they just bombed a nursing home. I said, what? So,
you know that story Trump always told, or that thing he always said, which was, if Jewish people vote for Kamala, they need to have their head examined. And then he said, if seniors vote for Kamala, they need to have their head examined. If Hispanics, migrant Hispanics vote for Kamala, they need to have their head examined. And if Black Americans have their vote for Kamala, they need to have their head examined. And if, etc. If you were in that crowd and you laughed after he said they bombed a hospital, you need to have your head examined. Something is seriously wrong with you. What? Then this.
We're really, that's a big thing. And we thought we had 4 deals, Howard, right, with Putin. Somehow they end and we get off the phone. Oh, that was a very nice conversation. And then he sends missiles into buildings someplace. I say, what was that all about?
I guess is what we're doing now. Now to go back to what we talked about in the last segment.
Trump. Bush, he fooled a lot of people. He fooled Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. He didn't fool me.
He insists he's not the one being fooled when he just said they've had 4 deals with Putin that fell apart because Putin was playing them. Now, I mean, that's what high character is about. Acknowledge that you did get fooled. How else do you define going around the world saying, no, trust me, I know Putin better than anybody else. He's a genius. He just needs me to call him up and talk and we'll settle it. And actually, Zelensky might be the problem here because Putin, he wants to end it. And running cover for Putin's lies, and then you are the one who come off really embarrassing. That's you being fooled. And this.
Are you going to be announcing sanctions on Russia tomorrow? We're going to see what we will see tomorrow, okay? We have the Secretary General, as you know, Europe has announced sanctions. But I am very disappointed with President Putin. And I thought he would.
So I think you get the point. Apparently, Melania helped to inform him that he was failing over and over again, which is an interesting scenario to imagine. But but now he's saying it's real. We'll have to wait and see if his vagueness and difficulties explaining what is actually happening was hard for you to understand. Let's check in on a spokesperson, Tammy Bruce. Maybe Tammy Bruce has more clarity about, is Trump doing the sanctions or not?
But he's also a realist, and he knows when things are not going to change, perhaps, or where there needs to be a different sort of approach. We may be seeing that. I don't want to get ahead of him, but thanks to his famous transparency, he has on a number of occasions expressed his dismay regarding Putin and the nature of what goes on, especially his outrage over the bombing of civilians and the attacks in the night on Ukraine. So I think that everything he says is big news, but for them to cast this as something very important that will be announced, we should take that seriously, and I think that it's going to have an impact exactly where the president wants it to.
A reminder to make sure you are subscribed by clicking the subscribe button. So that didn't help. Well, let's go back and see last time we heard from her on this topic. I'm sure spokesperson, like that's her job, she can give us some clarity on Trump's posture here.
How is the president going to negotiate a peace deal when everything that Putin says is meaningless? And to be fair, this is something that people have told the president for a while now, that what Putin largely says is meaningless. Even President Zelensky has said that, and the president has largely dismissed those concerns until recently.
I would urge you to be cautious about presuming the nature of the choice that the president makes, what informs his actions. Don't project onto him that he's dismissed concerns or accepted them. I've not been involved in high-stakes peace negotiations between nations, one of which is a nuclear-powered nation with nuclear weapons. Many of these issues are dealing with nations that could obliterate people in a flash. So I'm not going to presume, and none of us should, the nature of the choices that President Trump specifically makes in his determination to save people's lives and to end the absurdity of what...
So I'm just trying to give you as many different sources as I can here. Maybe that helped. I don't know.